MAME phase.
I really enjoyed recording the previous video where I looked at 10 alternative arcade games to play in MAME around the Halloween period, and so I thought I'd do a follow-up video. I've gone over my list of games and realised there are plenty more games for plenty more videos if I want to record them, and many of these again are games that people just sort of overlook. Not all of them are explicitly Halloween themed, but they've all got a sort of horror vibe to them or something slightly creepy about them. So let's dive straight in and look at Kyros. Now this is a game from Alpha Denchi that was licensed to World Games. It was released in '87, and you can immediately see you've got this sort of figure above a haunted house there, some sort of spirit. It's going right in for the horror vibes, and it's a different sort of genre than you might expect. You've got this walk-along beat-em-up style game with this overhead perspective, a slightly angled overhead perspective, but it's got all your traditional sort of horror elements to it. You see there in the attract mode, enemies coming out of the mirror when you're punching that symbol, and so let's just coin it up and get a nice laugh. Again, and there we go. We've got this traditional map. You see a lot of these maps in the horror games. Obviously, Ghouls and Ghosts is one of the better known ones, but they seem to like to show you where you are. Now, immediately, you get a bunch of enemies coming up from the ground, sort of almost like zombies in suits. I don't know. Gameplay-wise, this reminds me a bit of Capcom's Avengers or Nichi Butsu's Mighty Guy, that kind of thing. They're all sort of walk along beat 'em ups, although this is doing its own thing too, I think, and those really don't have the same creepy vibe. Now this is quite a tricky game, I have to say. I'm typically not very good at it, so let's just avoid things for now and try and make as much progress as we can. Yeah, right, the boomerang here. There we go. Let's get rid of some of these enemies with this. Now this boomerang goes off at a funny angle sometimes. It's not the easiest to control, and I've been hit by a barrel. And I'm dead. This is a checkpointed game, so you do have to be quite good to get anywhere. There we go. That barrel takes that enemy out, and that saves a bit of time. Now let's get these out of there. And keep going. Gee, are those enemies from the mirror, or do you pick them up? No, you pick them up. I thought they were enemies. I got hit by a door. So you can see the general creepy theme they're going for here. Mindless hordes of enemies walking towards you. Everybody moving in that sort of uneasy way. It's a tough game, though. It's a tough game. I don't know how far back I'm going to be sent, but not too bad, I guess. Not too bad. So we punch this, we can get these. Hit me down. Now this did get some ports to mainly the 8-bit to micros in the UK. We've got a Spectrum port, a CPC port, and a CCT4 port. There was also an Atari ST port, which I don't know, that may be the best of the bunch, but opinions vary. It was called Desolator in the ports though, rather than Kyros. I don't believe the arcade ever used that name, or if it did, the version with that name has never been found. We've got some hell. Are they hellhounds or are they just dogs? I don't know. They clearly don't want me here though. There seems to be a room that I'm trapped in until I beat them up. Obviously, I've got some sort of power up there, and now I can fire fireballs. Where are these out? Being dragged around. This feels like I have to survive here for long enough, maybe. Oh no, I punched that and they turned into chickens. That makes no sense whatsoever, but we'll go there. Oh, I can just go to the teleport there to get out. Okay, that wasn't obvious, but anyway, we can continue. So, do I have to spend a certain amount of time here before the teleport works again, or I can just do that straight away? So the game structure isn't as obvious as maybe some other games, and it's a very tricky game. This is still, I believe, the first stage. side door again. So where are we going? Yeah, I don't know. This game, I think it has its fans. It's not one I've ever spent much time with, but again, I think it gets overlooked. I don't think anybody associates the name Kyros with a horror game. It's not one that jumps out the list. It's not like it's got ghosts or ghouls or monsters in the title. It sits there hidden away. Now I've got some floating heads, a bit like the Joker, don't they? But, yep, I don't know how to attack them. Got this awkward somersault move. I said they're a bit dizzy, but obviously I'm not an egg. Now the collisions against the walls are a little awkward. Can't say they're the best in the world. Decent variety of characters, though. I mean, I think they're going to be recycled through the entire game. But you do see quite a lot. I've got that head. Now, I don't know if I'm going to beat this boss or not. Probably not. This might be where my demonstration of this game comes to an end and we move on. It's, I think you have to know the pattern, really, don't you? There, I'm dead again, you see. We won't continue, but this was a look at Kyros, which, again, I think this one really does fit the horror theme and perfect game for this time of year. But player one, game over. And there we go. So we will move on to another game now, and this is an unreleased game. This time, Neo Geo platform, and Ghostlop from Data East. Now, I honestly don't know why this one didn't get released. Maybe it was a case of bad timing, but this is actually one of my favourite Neo Geo games. And yeah, Data East, we're going to put this out. It's sort of a sequel to some of their other games. They did like Rafflesia and things like that, to Clusterbuster, where you're knocking down all these targets with a ball. But this time they did a Halloween theme to it, and you can even see the board this was done from the cartridge. For some reason the date's been hacked out of the copyright display, so it's probably from bootleg or a prototype, but it is the final game that was going to be released, and apparently never did get released. Like all the Neo Geo games, it's got a nice little how to play screen, just telling you, you can change the colour of the ball to destroy different block types, and yeah. So we've got two modes. We'll go through the story mode. We've got a bit of a story there, you see, in the story mode. Surprising, that. No. Well, there you go. It's not going to be the most in-depth story, but yeah, we are in charge of getting rid of all these ghosts, I believe. But you see, they've got the orangey Halloween pumpkin colour for some of the enemies, and then the sort of, again, ghostly blue colour. They're perfect Halloween colours. So you change the ball between the two colours with a different button at any time you want, and that is how you, well, get these targets knocked down. And the more you knock down at once, the more fall on the enemy side. And it's a nice, simple sort of puzzle game. Looks a bit like, say, something like Puzzle Bobble, but it does not play anything like Puzzle Bobble. It's entirely its own style of game. Taito did have a pushy show out, which was similar, but again, not the same. But you've seen these games where you're dropping blocks, and this is an interesting and entirely original take on it, based on some of the games, say, Data East did before, but refined and turned into a spooky Halloween game that really did deserve a release. There we go. So just drop as many as you can, as quickly as you can, and you'll get somewhere. That was a rating of B. Here we go, an actual graveyard background. Ghost dog that loves to play tricks. Bruce versus Friday. And there we go. Let's drop you off there. Now, if you're quick, you can change the colour of the ball while it's travelling, which is kind of important at times if you want to get the best drops. So we're going to go. There we go. I didn't even drop as many as I was hoping. So we're having one down there. Not quite. You have this helper line, which just come in handy. I'm assuming after a few stages that will go away. I can't remember at this point. It's been quite a few years since I've played this one. And I say it's one of my favourite sort of games on the Neo Geo, but doesn't mean I spend all the time playing it. There are many other games play. And again, it's one I think suits this time of year. I always get thinking, oh, I'll play at Halloween. And just if the ball hits the bottom, it will cause the pieces to drop more quickly, which you can use to your advantage if you can knock enough down at once, but also get you into trouble very quickly. That was a good drop. Well, I'm not inflicting pain on the enemy here, are I? Well, need to get some more things. I can't lose on this stage. Time over. There we go, I got a technical victory. I guess just based on the number left in the playfield. Need to be more ruthless though. So, there we go, change that to blue and drop a ton of them there. That's good. One colour. And maybe they didn't think there was the depth in the gameplay here. Maybe the SNK just wanted to concentrate on other genres. I really don't know the story behind this one not getting released. It maybe just didn't test well enough, but I would have thought a spooky themed game would test well. Only a grade C this time though. Oh, there's a ghost in Randy's room. Which one do I go to? Branching paths. I'll go to Jennifer's house. So here we go. We are fighting under the bed. But yeah, maybe the gameplay doesn't change up quite enough. But I think it's solid. There we go. Nice big attack. Appropriately jolly music. So I think it works for the game. It's slightly spooky, but also upbeat. Bit rock and roll, isn't it? But say those spooky tones to it. Okay, so we're gonna get in there. Let's knock those down. And get the stat out of the way. But yeah, it's not the most complex of games to play. It's an easy one to explain to somebody if they've not played it before, and I think that makes it a good family-friendly one again. I've tried to look at some more family-friendly games on both of these videos, and they're not all going to be family-friendly. Some are a bit more horrible, but this one definitely falls into that. Yeah, you could play this with family category. Did we not get the bombs? There we go. So we go. Orange. Orange, blue. There we go. and a nice easy victory. So it's not the most difficult of games, although I guess if you want the higher scores and the better hunting levels, you have to play it a little bit better than I'm playing it. Let's go to the amusement park. The merry-go-round horse this time, the roaming horses. Patterns do get trickier. Again, you've only really got to worry about the 2 colours. Maybe more colours would have just been too complicated. I'm not sure.
That's cool.
There we go. Doing so well at the moment. Oh, that might be a recovery. There we go. And drop those down there. Quite a few people do remember playing this on location tests before it was dumped. It was one of those that a lot of people did think had been released, but obviously it turned out to not be the case. But enough people had played it when it was being tested to have remembered it and mentioned it long before there was any ROM available for it. So I can understand why as well. It might have that sort of pre-rendered look, but it works for this game. Sometimes pre-rendered looks really bad, but here they've got smooth colour gradients. It doesn't look all grainy or anything else. It's done well. Oh, and I've lost this one. So let's get this in a try. I think after this credit we will be moving on, though. There's plenty more to cover. This is only the second game. And I do have 10 lined up, so I'll have to see how much time I'm going to spend on each of them, because I don't like these videos to go on for too long. And that sort of defeats the point of them being easy introductions to games. Maybe I should do sort of abridged versions of them with just some highlights. But I don't know. That's something for me to think about later. What we're doing now. Should be able to drop something. Yep. How much time? Yeah, this is another one that if you've got a second player as well, that adds to the fun. The computer AI is maybe not as good as another human player could be. I'm not sure. Oh, of course, if I miss stuff, yeah, I lose. There you go. So I am too weak. Let's go. 3 letters? Yep, 3 letters. We'll not be continuing. But Data East did a number of really good puzzle games, actually. I really like Kiss Off on the STV. That's the English title, but I can't remember the No Oh Gem of the World. I can't remember the name right now, but that was another good one. There we go. It's creepy and fragrance one. But yeah, Data East Ghostlop. A Halloweeny game I highly recommend, and one that definitely should have seen a proper release. Unfortunately it didn't, but it's no worse of a game for it. So next game. Oh, another vertical one this time. Now, this one does have evil in the title. This is Evil Stone by the basically unknown Spacey Industrial. And, again, it's got evil in the title. It's full of all sorts of demonic beings and the like. It actually plays a little similar to Kyros, as you'll see in a minute, but not quite the same. It's got similar sort of visual style, the angle of the presentation. Here you go, you see. But you are more jumping from platform to platform. In fact, even your outfit is very similar. You can see this orange-coloured zombie hunter. So you jump from platform to platform, and you kick the ugly beings off each platform and get past them, and you can collect the pouch. Don't get kicked off yourself, because that's bad. And do bigger jumps. There we go. Those will collapse, so you have to be quick on those ones. What are you doing? One of the good strategies is to not stay too near the edge where you're going to get kicked off, because that will end you very quickly. So don't get stabbed, don't get speared off either. Oh, I was just about quick enough. And I got knocked off. So this is, say, one of the bosses. And you can lose your lives very quickly here if you don't get the timing right. I clearly did not. And again. And that is actually my game over. Can I continue? Yes, I get to continue. So we'll see if I can get a little bit further, because I don't think I want to be... yeah, don't jump down there either. So you can't jump over there, the enemy can. So just for reference, if you try and jump, that's what happens to you. Unfortunately, I do not have a strategy at this point, as you can probably see. We will persevere, see if we get anywhere. Maybe, the difficulty just went through the roof if you don't know what you're doing, as I don't. And repeating the same thing over and over and over is just going to cost me more and more credits. But let's keep repeating the same thing over and over. So this is not going well. I didn't even make it to the boss that time. Try again. So yes, we'll try again. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I can actually make it past this boss. Well, no, he knocked me off. So if I do this and move over to this side, maybe this strategy works. It seems more effective. Just let him attack thin air. Unless I'm not actually doing any damage. I assume I'm doing some damage. If they have to actually knock the enemy off, that would... no, there we go. There we go. I actually managed to beat that enemy. So, yeah, as long as you just don't stand in the way of all the attacks, it's not too difficult. So, there we go. Chapter 2 then. Where am I going to go? Can't go that way. Oh dear. Now, where am I meant to go now? Go down this way, that way. That way? Yeah, that's the way. These things obviously want to knock me off. Yeah, this is one of those games that has elements that are similar to other games. It still stands up as its own thing, a unique game. Now you can't jump where those floating platforms are. That is not something I demonstrated on the first stage, but it's kind of an important mechanic here. To find the best way around. Can you jump? So yeah, don't jump straight into them. There's probably a way. There's probably a path that leads through. I missed. So yeah, where do I go? Probably not this way then. Yeah, I just need to go around, don't I? There we go. That's better. I do need to get onto that. Oh no. Down here. This is the way. More frogs. There were frogs in the last stream. Frogs got me killed many times in the stream video. These are not streams. There we go. Which way? That way. That way and that way. No! Off I go. Back here. Another game that likes to inflict checkpoints on me. No. Those fireball-y things like to push it off. Quite aggressive. Don't know what the power-ups do. And another boss. Oh, this one looks tricky. Oh. Yeah, this is a bit tricky because I've got one on each side. I have to jump into them to attack them. So, at least the fire doesn't outright kill you, but getting knocked off will do. But there we go. A bit of evil stone, and you can see the general theme of it and the music. Very creepy music. Just bits with Halloween, really, isn't it? And I don't think many people play this one. I have streamed it before when I've done actual streams. So no, I don't wish to try it again. I wish to rest. We'll get lots of letters this time. Maybe. Yes, Spacey Industry, was it? It runs on similar hardware to some Taito games, but it's not developed by Taito. I'm not aware of any other arcade games developed by Spacey Industry. Definitely give it a look if you've not played it. It's quite fun. And I don't think it was released outside of the arcades. Now, the next one, maybe not so Halloween, but Mystic Marathon from Williams. Now, this one is just for the very creepy creepy imagery. Speed through the startup tests. You've got sort of haunted trees and creepy looking caves and all your creatures that you're racing with just look like something out of a twisted fantasy, and I think that's kind of one of the things that fits well with Halloween is any kind of weird and witchy and magical setting, and that's what this is. Mystic Riders was a game we played in the previous video, and this time Mystic Marathon, so mystic. But yes, you see there the trees with the faces on. We'll just credit it. And this for a long time in MAME did have really wrong colours, but these days the colours are pretty close to what you'd expect. Even there you see you've been spat out of a cave with a tongue. Now the game is just sort of race along and don't trip over things, push other people out the way, and don't finish last. Well, I think you have to finish in the top 3 to continue. But there are all sorts of little secrets and shortcuts, as well as the traps. That you see, that one should take me up there, get me a little bit ahead, but I'm not doing very well. It's a long drop if you fall down, so we can probably go in the cave. Yeah. No, it doesn't want to swallow me because it just swallows somebody else. But yeah, I'm quite far behind. And now having apples thrown at us by these haunted trees. So everything is out to get you here, really. Nothing wants you to win this race. I'm going to finish last, aren't I? Oh, I'm 5th at the moment, but yeah, now in the water, and oh dear. Oh, this is the first level. This is not a good start. Now, if you get to the bridge first, yeah, you can run along it. And I basically missed everything I needed to get to finish the level. So I was not in the top 3. No, I was not. We can try again, though. We can try again. Let's see if I do a bit better this time. It's not an easy game, and you do get knocked around quite badly by everything, so, you know, the controls are a little laggy. So it doesn't really feel like your typical Williams game. Sounds like one, because the sound system is, well, very similar to their other games. But it doesn't quite play like one. I don't know if there's falling there actually costs you time, because it seems to. That hole gets you nowhere. Don't fall down that hole. And, if I can avoid being hit by the apples here, that will be a bonus. There we go. I've got to. Oh, no, I'm not back into 4th position now. Just jump over you. I just need to avoid dropping too far down. I got the bridge this time. You see, that's given me an advantage. That might put me in 1st. You see, you get that and go from being in 4th to being in 1st because you took the bridge that made it a lot quicker to get over that water. I've been spat out by the Tongi cave again. A banana, that's gold, isn't it? Looks like a banana. I was trying to avoid it. Now we get some of the ugly troll type things trying to stamp on us. So again, best avoided. So water is slow, so yeah, you don't want to be in water too long. So if you can find the smallest gap to get across, that helps. And again, we've got a cave. Little shortcut. And then whirlpools we really want to be avoiding. So let's say there's all sorts of traps. The apples. And yeah, it can feel very unfair at times, unfortunately. So I've gone from like 1st place to 5th place just because I got hit by a lot of apples. So I can make up the placements though, because everything is out to get your opponents to with these things. And the finish line is here. Come on, get up. And there we go. Another 1st place finish. So, wizards make you small. I think that's telling us there's going to be a new enemy type. Ooh, got some sharks. No Jaws theme tune though, for obvious reasons. Oh, the hand threw me. That was quite handy. Oh, there's the wizards, and I've got the boat. So you can see it does have that Halloween-y feel. All these, well, mystic creatures. Yeah, you want your wizards, your monsters, haunted trees, your caves with waterfalls coming out their mouth. I'm not sure about whirlpools. I'm not sure about the giant clams either, but no. Don't do that. Come on, leave the place. Just. But now we've got to beware of the stormy weather. And you see what it means. So that's very well. Now it definitely feels just need a castle now. Finish the one, I'm 7th place. Not gonna get the bridge. Can we get this? Visually, yeah, there's some ugly things about this. It does use a tile map for part of the background graphics, I believe, unlike most Williams games. And sometimes the tile choices, especially when you're coming out mountains and things like that with the caves, looks a bit odd. It's maybe not their best looking game in that sense. Yeah, I think this butterfly, no, the butterfly's gone. I'm still not out of the running. There might be soon. Yeah, I think I'm going to finish 4th, which isn't good enough. Yeah, finished 4th. Not good enough. But there we go. I'm not going to play another credit, but oh, you get the idea with this one. Okay. That was Mystic Marathon. Yeah, I kind of like to play this one this time of year. There's just something about it that fits the mood for me. But we will now move on. And what we're going to play? We're going to play a Namco game. Now, this one is a very Japanese game. It's Genpai ToumaDen on Namco System 86. This is one with a variety of game modes, but the overall theme again is it's full of demons and skeletons and creepy looking burning candles and that type of thing. But you see, there you go. This is just a bit of a preview in the attract mode. I'm going to coin it up and play it. It's that very creepy voice. Now this, I think in the arcades only got released in Japan. It did make it to some Namco museum collection, I believe on one of the PlayStation systems. But it's maybe not a game that many people outside of Japan really play. And look, it's full of really creepy bugs. And they've already got our skeletons. Look, just the landscape itself. I mean, yeah, this is the type of thing you want to play this time of year. So there are multiple game modes. It can be quite gruesome. And I didn't get very far. There we go. You're on the continue screen. Kinda creepy. Let's see how far we can actually get. I'm not one to have played this game very often, so I don't know if the best strategy is to just try and run away from everything or try and kill everything before it overwhelms you, because it does seem one that you can easily get overwhelmed. There we go, I've gone through a gate. And now we're in the section with the bigger characters. It's a bit more like a Gladiator now, isn't it? This oddly smooth movement of the sword, which again you're going to have to master to effectively attack anything. Up and down. Let's see. Down makes you do that. Up makes you do that. So knowing when to swing, there we go, is important. Nope. There we go. Timing's everything here. Big skeleton. Falls to pieces. It's sort of... It doesn't feel like a traditional game. Everything is bigger than you expect it to be and made of more pieces than you expect it to be and animates differently, which is a little unsettling in itself if you're used to games that are just look like everything's in tiles. Obviously here it looks more tile-based, and it is tile-based, but just the way the sprites are being used at times makes it look otherwise. This is the third of our game modes. And we've got skeletal dog-like creatures, I'm not sure. Can you destroy these? Yeah, you can. I think the health candle's on my health, and I think it's running quite low right now, so I'm probably about to die. Get to another gate though, and get some health back. Another section like that. Oh, arrows, 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 and tigers. And now my arm is just swinging wildly. There we go, that's the end of that. So it does mix it up all the time, this one. I don't know if it would have been better to just have one really well done game. I mean, some people might argue that this is just a mess of different games gelled together. But I think all of them held up fairly well from the limited amount I've played them. Fortunately, we are already dead again. I don't know what she's saying to me. So we're about halfway through now, aren't we? Ooh, we get bashed around a little bit here. What on earth are these? This is one of those games that does sort of feel like it's about ready to fall apart at any given moment. I'm not quite sure why. I didn't last very long, did I? But it is, I think because sometimes the graphics fall apart a little. It may be pushing the hardware a bit harder than it should have been pushed. But again, that's because it's not very traditional in the overall design. There is a lot going on here. And it's impressive, I have to say. This is the same hardware as Rolling Thunder? I think it might be. Oh dear. Apparently this level kills you off very quickly if you don't know what you're doing, so there we go. I think we can move on from that one. You've seen the 3 game modes, and you get the idea. You're killing lots of demonic creatures and skeletons, and it's all very creepy. Now we're going to go for a different game, which is a puzzle game. And this one is Monster Slider from Visco. Now, on the SSV platform, this one is more explicitly horror. See the whole red fade there on the logo. And a few puzzly games, I would say. It's a bit quiet. Not much you can do about that. There are a few puzzle games that are Halloween themed or spooky themed. Ghostlop maybe that we looked at earlier, you could consider one. But this one is a more traditional puzzle game, I think. Sorry the volume's a bit low on this game, it's just how it is. But yes, Monster Slider. Now I don't believe there was any export version of this. So you would just have to make do with the Japanese text. It's not that difficult to get a grasp of what you're meant to do though. You're dropping blocks and you can rotate them, and you can flip the playfield from side to side. And like most games like this, you're matching blocks up and try and make chains. So let's go. There you go, 3 there and 3 there. And depending on the way the playfield is facing, the blocks will slide down in a different way, and use that to your advantage. There you go. You slide that down there and make a chain there. Special attack with the full moon and werewolf. You see the schools also look in a different direction. Nice little touches like that in this game. I think really add to it, and it makes pretty good use of the SSV hardware as well. There's plenty of blending going on, which, you know, isn't necessary but adds to the mood. You see the fade there done with the blend when you get the attacks. It wouldn't have been possible if you didn't have the alpha blending hardware, and same with the attacks. I think they're all blended too. Yeah, before the balls go over. So, you know, you might think it's a puzzle game. It's not going to make great use of the hardware, but it does all over the place. You're seeing the hardware put to good use. So, not only is it a different and creative puzzle game, it's also one of the good examples of how to effectively use this piece of hardware. And that's not something you always see. Quite often puzzle games only make relatively basic use of any given piece of hardware. I'm not doing very well there. So when a puzzle game makes good use of hardware, it's also worth highlighting, because they're typically quite simple games. There we go. Can I get 3? Yep. Now, is that going to work? You do have to try and build a bigger chains to kill off the enemy quickly. And you see the crosses on their playfield are blocking some of their positions, which they will also do to you if you are not careful. But I think this first level is just letting you get to grips with the mechanics. Although if you spend too long, my health there you see is decreasing, because the candle is your health. So if the candle gets down to 0, you lose also. So that adds some time pressure to do things quickly and create the big chains. Otherwise, you'll just lose based on that, spending too much time, you know, whittling down your health with the attacks, even though they're never big ones. So it doesn't just let you keep playing and doing badly forever, which is, I'm sure I'm going to see soon, because I've been talking not really playing well. You can slide that down that way. There we go. That there. I need a big attack at some point though. That's not a big attack. Come on. I win anyway. Oh, okay, I won from them filling up their pit, I guess. I wasn't paying attention. I was more worried about the overall candle. There we go. Now I have to face Carrot. And obviously it gets more difficult. Nice blending on the start thing there as well. So, you know, you've seen the mechanics now. There's no new mechanics introduced to my knowledge. This is the game. Say a new colour there, though, just to make things more difficult. But it's not going to start surprising me. You know, that's how puzzle game progression tends to work. The mechanics are always there in play. It's just a case of making use of them. There we go. Can I get some green? No. It requires a slightly different way of planning your chains as well, because you have to learn how the pieces slide. The game is called Monster Slider. That is the central mechanic here, really. It's what differentiates it. And understanding it. Can I get... Yeah, they say they won't drop immediately. They only drop after a piece is dropped, so you can't just tip it. It's maybe you'd expect them to immediately slide, but they do not. Probably better that they don't, otherwise it'd get very hectic. Chain. Oh, that's an attack. It's a bit Christmassy with the snowman, but well, so he's frozen some of my blocks. I said there's no new mechanics, but say the special attacks are going to do different things. What we're going to do now? Come on. I'm sure to unfreeze them, you just clear blocks next to them, like any game which has, you know, enclosed pieces after an attack. Oh. Much like get rid of the skulls by clearing pieces next to them. There we go. Now you can swap the slide direction during the chains, which is again an important strategy, because you might need to slide one way at the start, then that way. I didn't need to slide that way. There. Oh, no, that's my fault. So what we're doing. This is close. Counter. That's not going to do me any good. Okay, I've my own chance there. So where are these pieces going to go? Not there. We need another green at some point. This is close. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I think I'm running out of space though. Might have lost. I don't think this is recoverable, is it? No. Or maybe. But probably not. I think. Yeah. I lose. But yes, Monster Slider. It's a good puzzle game, really, and definitely one that fully fits the Halloween theme, and one that tends to be overlooked. Oh, look, some nice drippy blood. So, there I get a high score. Oh, look, fancy. Good presentation values all round, I think, and say, clearly an effort. Using the special effects, even here on the name entry screen, they could have gone with something so much more simple than the whole rotating name entry. So yes, if you've not played Monster Slider, it's one I do highly recommend giving a try. And you know, Visco have some good games, some bad games. I would say this was one of their better ones. Let's just let it load up to the title screen, or play the track up with the title screen even. And then we'll quit out. So also credited to DAT Japan, so maybe Visco published it, I'm not sure, maybe DAT developed it. But that was Monster Slider. Now, the next game. The next game is one you might know by a different name, but this version is significantly different enough for it to warrant its own inclusion here. Now, Meikyuu Hunter G. This is the game that was later adapted into the real Ghostbusters game. But this version is significantly different to Ghostbusters. I mean, not only in not having the Ghostbusters theme, but many of the enemy patterns and levels and everything else like that are different. It plays very differently. So I think it's worth covering anyway, because a lot of people are just not going to see this or play this. It's just listed as a clone of the real Ghostbusters in MAME, and it probably shouldn't be. I think I said that on stream before. But it's worth a look. And obviously, it is a game where you're fighting hordes of ghosts and demons, which is, again, why it was a natural choice to really adapt into a Ghostbusters game. May look at the Ghostbusters game on another video, but for now we'll look at this one. So, let's see. Blasting these. You got your double shot, secondary weapons. Let's go over here, look at the graveyard. Now, some senses might remind you of things like Konami's Devil World. This is a similar perspective. But, it doesn't play much like that either. I'm going So it's a run and gun sort of Mercs Commando style game essentially, but with lots of ghosts. Laser beam. You don't have any kind of Slimer thing going around you like you do on Ghostbusters. Gate. Make our way through this graveyard and lose too many lives and continue too many times because I'm terrible at these games. Now we've got the boss. Wizardy, foolish, I don't know what you call this. Takes a lot of hits though. It's an awful lot of hits. There we go. Get the key and enter the crypt. It does have this creepy line scroll effect. Some versions of the game, or at least Ghostbusters, have that and others don't. I think it was taken out at some point. It seems to be the later revisions that don't have it. Spikes. Now, this is one of those that maybe would have benefited from different control schemes. Sometimes you want games like this to be twin stick. I'm thinking that might have worked better, make a bit more like Sega's Bullet, but it doesn't play badly anyway. Oh, don't walk on the spikes. So, again, I don't know what type of evil creature they are, but they like to prance around, and then we've got some mummies. The gate to shoot through again. Oh, the boss. The ball and chain. My more powerful gun made short work of that boss, and then I died. Continuing down into the depths. Yeah, we'll play this a little bit longer. Big. Big didn't do much. Put it out of the way. Let's go that way. Insecty looking things. I think maybe the Ghostbusters game is a bit better, it's more refined than this. But it's interesting to see the origins of it. So I think it's just so much change in that Ghostbusters game. It's obviously the same game engine, but not the same game. Two bosses this time. I'm assuming these do more damage, yeah. Well, I have a lot of lives. I should just get more lives for every credit you put in, which is entirely possible. Not really thought about that. Maybe it's one of those games. Just die already. There we go. Key, and go through here. That doesn't look like it needed a key. I won't complain. I think I can see why maybe they took that out of some later versions. It's a very slow effect, but you can't skip. Yeah, definitely less ghosts in this version, but creepy nonetheless. Yes. Let's try. We'll run through a little bit. Die again. I think they are the end of me. You know, not continuing anymore. Which is my name. Yes, if you only ever played the Ghostbusters game, the real Ghostbusters game, definitely check out this one. It's worth playing for its own reasons. There we go. So yes. What's next? Oh, the next one. I say this one is very much. I don't think it's intended to be Halloweeny this time of year game, but the music and the visual style. Yeah, Rafflesia by Corland and Sega. It's a vertical shooter. Look at that face. Look at these red demonic heads. I mean, apparently these things are, you know, a type of parasitic flower, or parasitic flowering plant, but I don't really know where that comes into the game design, because they just look like sort of demonic heads. It was released the same year as another game Sega licensed, which was called Flower, but that just has you blasting sunflowers. This instead, well, just shooting those things. It really feels like a horror shoot 'em up. So we'll play a little bit of it. And the creepy music, listen to it. Just listen to it. This is not a traditional space shooter. It's really wants you to feel uncomfortable. When it's got the space background, it's then you die and you see even the enemies that are attacking you then are just creepy faces. Everything in this has just got a face on it. I'm not quite sure where the name of the game fits in. To me, this really wants to be a horror game. Maybe even got eyes on them. Not very good at it though. It's a tough game with very fast-moving enemies. So you really have to learn the patterns. Maybe more infamous because there was a ROM set of this game lost for a long time, one that was dumped and then the board was sold or something like that, and the actual ROMs were lost, and that was the unencrypted set though. I didn't get very far, did I? It is a tough game. I think that set has now been found though, the long lost set, on a different board, which tends to happen. Look for long enough and you will eventually find these things again. That version plays any differently though. Probably just the same code without encryption. You don't have much firepower either, so if you're in the wrong place in this game, you are going to die. You have the secondary shot which should charge in as well, which does give you a bit of extra power, but that depletes the energy bar down there. You don't use that unless you have to, and also there's a slight delay in using it, so it's a bit of a risk. I guess it's usually a case like that if you just want to do that, and you can if you know you're going to be able to recharge it quickly enough. Definitely not a space shooter soundtrack though. Bottom was not safe there. Clever. Very clever of me. I'll give it one more credit. I've got near the bottom of the high score list. But it was a high score. Give it one more try, and then we can move on. I think these waves are a bit trickier than some of the ones that come after them. Ghost happening as well, don't you? Does anything in this game not have a face on it? And in terms of enemies, those same wave they've gone before. Can you kill that? Probably not. And there we go. Facing this thing, which has this inside it. I'm out of energy now. What was it? The smartest thing to do, was it? Again, it's gone all super creepy on me. The music changed. I don't know. This is one of the creepiest games I've played tonight. It's not even explicitly billed as a Halloween or horror game. Where do we go next? Some more enemies. Again, red and demonic looking. Very fast moving bullets too. If the background was the insides of some body, it might make more sense, but why is it in space? These things are not... even see what got me. Did not even see what got me. Must have been one of the green bullets. What's the thing? Yeah, I think one of the green bullets got lost in the stars. Again, maybe why stars is not the best background. Anyway, game over on that one. Game over on that one. Where do we go next? Top of the high score table this time. What is this music? There we go. I got to area 2. I would call that an accomplishment. Yeah, we can move on now. We can move on and play. Yes, let's play one that is definitely a thing of the theme. This is Eeekk from EPOS Corporation, a 1983 game where you play as a little ghost in a house. There we go. These goblins are wrecking the house. You need to punch them away, which is not something you'd expect a ghost to be doing, but yep, we are the punching ghost. So you go away. You go away too. No. So we're again. Yep. Oh. No one up the stairs. There we go. Punch you away. So yes, it's a game where you go around punching ghosts or goblins, or I'm not sure because I'm the ghost, so I guess they're the goblins. They look very much like ghosts to me. And there are two versions of this. There's this version on EPOS's own hardware, and there is one that is a Pac-Man hardware conversion. It's a bit harsh. This one is framed for base, whereas the Pac-Man one uses sprites and tile maps. So it's basically an entirely different piece of code. It runs a bit faster than this version, I believe, although it has a lot of flicker, whereas this version doesn't flicker, so I generally prefer this one. Suddenly the game got a lot faster. Now I'm Turbo Ghost. I can't go that way. That is not... Unfortunately, it doesn't look like you can haunt anything. It's not like the haunting game. You can't just jump in a bath and scare things. I think, yeah, the goblins are just trying to wreck everything, and so I have to stop them wrecking things. Once they're wrecked, they just turn blue and don't animate anymore. Oh, God, jumped off and off. It's not very nice, is it? I'm going to play another credit of this, though, because that was very, very quick. One of these where there's loads of letters. Exorcists. I beat Sid. Continue last game. I think, did I select continue? I did. I wonder if there's a limit on how long that continue option is available. Because obviously if the next person comes along and inserts a coin, they're not going to know what level I got to. Move down this way, can't we? Oh, didn't punch you. Come on. Time to get punched. It does feel a little bit of a waste of the theme when, say, all you're really doing is punching things. Ghosts should be able to do so much more, including walk through walls, which you definitely can't do here. Bit faster again. But mazes do get more complicated. I mean, say there's only one way down to that corner. Corner now. I got trapped under. They can leap up and leap down. get yourself trapped under them. Oh, I think that's the time. Yep, the witch is coming back. Oh, and I didn't get the final ghostly goblin thing in time. Yeah, that will do. Let's continue from that level again. See if we can beat this level. Get away quick. Nope. I'm not sure if there's a best strategy on this game. I'm not sure what you can do about the bats either. I don't know if they kill you. I'm assuming they do. Oh, we're already running out of time. It's starting to get quite tricky. Don't know how we get down there. The movement's really unpredictable. Oh well, I think maybe we'll call it there for Eeekk. It's I think you've seen what it's all about. It's a haunted house game where you play as a ghost and you beat things up by punching them. It's a very basic game, but it fits the theme. You might want to play it. You might want to pass on it. We'll end on a better game. One I covered a fair bit, and that is Taito's Bonze Adventure, which sees you playing as this monk-like character, traversing graveyards and hellish landscapes, going through the underworld, as it says. So there we go. Apparently we're a high priest. But yeah, starts in a cemetery with creepy music. I played this on a fair bit. You can destroy lots of the gravestones for bonuses, you can push some for secret rooms, and it's also very difficult. You have to take your time, otherwise that will happen. You see a movement in the grass, something's going to spawn, and one hit will see you done for. And sometimes I think this cemetery bit is trickier than what comes later. I always forget which gravestones you can push to. That one you can break. Although I'm dying rather than breaking the gravestone. Is it alive? Yeah, there are ways into the various secret rooms if you know where you're going. I can tell I'm going to have to practice this one. I usually clear this level without that much problem. But clearly not today. There we go. Is there a snake coming out there? Yes, of course it is. Keep pushing forward. So you can't get through there either, you have to find a different way through there. Over everything here. That's our way up here. And into the caves. Down the well. Descending to the underworld. Again, it's one of those games with a map. I did say, these horror games like to do that. The dead or alive river. Nothing to do with the fighting game. Please, what? So you just have to take your time and not rush things. Here we go. Little bow. When you rush, you will die frequently. push as much as they want because I'm invulnerable. Enough. I'm no longer invulnerable, and I die. And I spawn not too far away. Yeah, can't swim. Don't want to end up in the water like that. It does feel a little bit like Taito's other game, Liquid Kids, in the sense that you're throwing balls of, well, not liquid in this case, but balls of something at the enemies, and it's killing them. Liquid Kids, you're obviously throwing big water balls, and it's got some interesting water mechanics. This is less so, but say different sized balls, just like that game. The school bridge that falls down, like every bridge in a game of this nature always does. Where we can climb up. No. If you're careful, you can climb up. There you go. It does leave you quite close to the edge of the screen at times, this game, which is not always the most positive trait in a platformer. Can make it very difficult to know what's above you, and therefore where it's safe to jump. I'm sure that's intentional, though. Now, I believe if we're careful, we can go down here. Nope. Don't jump there. Ooh, and yeah, 5 is as bad as water, maybe. Unsurprisingly, let's give it one more credit. Don't be frustrated. You can continue here if you like. You know when I said be careful? Yeah, be careful. You still get down there? No. How did I do it so correctly the first time and failing on every subsequent attempt? In case of just letting it drop, then jumping at the right moment. There we go, that's better. And now I get eyeballed. Oh well, I did say one more credit, and that was one more credit, so unfortunately that's all you get to see of this game. And I think that's our 10 games, so there you go. 10 more slightly creepy games, full of demons, devils, and other spooky, weird things to play around Halloween, or just, you know, October, November, time of year in general if you want to, or any other time if you just feel like playing them, because there are some good games here. There are some weaker games. I wouldn't really recommend Eeekk, for example, but the others, yeah, definitely give them a try. Evil Stone, probably underrated gem. Ghostlop, Neo Geo game, you really deserved a bit more praise than it ever got, and at a proper release. But yes, anyway, that is this video done for, so thank you for watching, and especially if you've stayed till the end. If you've just been skipping through it, that's all good too, because I do add the indexes to the videos so that you can just view the bits you want. So take care everybody, and I'll catch you on the next video.